Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so happy you're joining me again today for another video. I am going to make this really simple card today, but I'm using some favorite techniques of mine to do with stencils, and I'm using this Hearts stencil by Jane's Doodles. I really like this stencil. It has a gorgeous heart pattern and I can't wait to get into it. I die cut a panel out of craft cardstock and I'm just, I taped that in place with some purple tape on the back of it on just some scrap piece of paper, just so I don't get my work surface all inky. I'm also really taping that stencil down with some purple tape. And then the first step is to ink blend on some white pigment ink. I'm using the Hero Arts ink, and this is going to be our first layer. This is going to make it so that the dye ink has some white to grab onto and to really get vibrant on that craft cardstock. But if we shift the stencil, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to shift it just a little bit to the right, no, to the left, sorry. And I'm going to tape it down again. Then I can just blend on some of the dye ink that I mentioned before. I'm using Pinkfresh Studio ink. And on the one side that is off the white pigment ink, so the stencil shifted. So one part of the hearts is just brown craft paper. It's going to be darker. The dye ink is going to adapt because of the color of the craft cardstock. So the craft is going to shine through and it's going to darken the color on top of it. The white, however, is going to lighten the color. And then you also have just a little piece of white left that is hidden behind the stencil right now, but you'll see it in a minute. So you have a dimensional heart, or it looks dimensional at least. And I'm using Pinkfresh Studio inks, and I'm just using a rainbow of inks to get a lot of color in this card. Now I kept my my stencil, my stencil and my panel in place on that scrap piece of cardstock. This is just some copy paper that I folded in half. And then I'm putting this onto my die cutting platform. So I'm using the Spellbinders platform and I'm following the directions on that. However, I do add a shim to this later. So I added another piece of double folded copy paper on top of this. And then I will add my embossing mat, which comes with the Spellbinders Platinum machine, and I will also use my embossing plate on top of that. And that is the sandwich this plate or this machine recommends. And then you can emboss with your stencils. How cool is that? So the dimension you get out of this is nothing too out there, but it is definitely there, and it's really cool in real life. Now the only thing I'm going to add to this is a die cut. I'm using the Love die cut from, this is a die set by Pinkfresh Studio, and I don't know what it's called, which is not a shock to anyone who ever watches my videos, but it's also no surprise that I will list it in the description below. So I stacked probably four white die cuts together, and then I also added a slightly off-white, a creamy cardstock on top of that. And that is actually the paper that I'm going to use to mat my design. So you can see there the love that is cut out. That is the love I used on the top of my sentiment stack. And you can see that the white underneath it is a lot whiter than the cardstock on top of it. And I really like that creamy look combined with the craft paper. I added a piece of cardboard behind my craft panel to prop it up and give it some nice and sturdy dimension. This is a lot lighter than stacking 4 layers of thick white cardstock together because it's corrugated cardboard. I don't know how to explain that, but if you look up an image of corrugated cardboard online, you will see what I mean. It's not full of paper. It is a lot lighter, so it's a lot cheaper to mail. I just added that love die cut on top of it, and I am fussing with the die cut hairs at the edges of my card there, but they're all gone now, and so I can add some embellishments. I'm using some Nuvo drops today. This is my absolute favorite color of Nuvo drops because it goes with absolutely everything. It's the Ivory Seashell color, and it is off-white. It's not silver, but it is pearlescent, so it has a lovely subtle shine, and it just goes with all the colors of the rainbow, which is obviously perfect for this card. And it is a little bit to the warm side of white, so I really like it with that cream cardstock as well. And that's my card already finished. All you need is a sentiment die with that lovely hearts stencil by Jane's Doodles. I really like this stencil. I've been dying to use it for a while now, and I'm finally getting around to it. Now I folded an envelope out of that same off-white cardstock with my We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. I glued it together with the Barely Art Precision Crafts glue, and then I'm once again using that stencil, but I'm going to use some brown inks now. I figured I have all that color on my card. It would be fun to make the envelope a little bit more subtle and have the recipient be surprised by the color. So I just used some more Pinkfresh Studio ink, and I just blended that on. Now I do blend on a little bit more of that brown to the edge of that card or that envelope to darken up the edge as well. And this ink almost gives it a tea-stained look, and I really like it. I really love that bright rainbow and the dimension you get with the hearts because of the offset stenciling or the offset stencil layering, and also that really subtle dimension with the stencil embossing. I really like that technique, and it's been a while since I've done it, so I had to use it on this one. You can see the dimension a lot better on this photo. I hope you like it. I really like this card. It's so simple, but it just works so well. I hope you like it too. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. You can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, and on top of this video I will link to a playlist where you can watch more Jane's Doodles videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.